So we join back in with our adventurers after last week. Our group had caught up with Dante, question mark, who, upon arriving through a strange and creepy, woven, crafted interdimensional space almost, the group found the partially, mostly possessed Dante fighting with the fiends and different creatures in the rooms. One made of a creature made entirely of tethers and and threads, trying to attack and grapple them. And through a hard fight, they managed to beat back the fiends before being suggested into a calming state by Tenebris himself, except for Volu, who did give a good old whack upon mention of Tanabori, Volu's adoptive mother, who Volu wasn't aware knew this strange Efreeti creature. After finally after finishing his business, Tenebris oddly released Dante, and the group retreated to the rusty bucket where they have rested. You can all knock off a long rest in case you haven't, or in case you forgot from the end of last week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Obviously, Volu, people with spells that you can prepare or do whatever you do. I think you would wake quite a bit later in the day, mostly because all of the business of the fair is down in the Crucible. That is the focus now. And now that there's no like marching band parade down the main strip, it's fairly quiet up in the further reaches. And you had quite a busy day yesterday. That when quite a day, like you literally like had weaving contests, fights with creatures, random old people attacking people, Volu collapsing from a strange curse. The list goes on, and I feel by the time you wake up, almost that smell of brunch and the hot sunlight coming through is what brings you to wake.
How you feeling?
Not great. Tired.
I can imagine.
Burnt out.
And also, as you sort of say that, Dante, and look down at your arm, all your scars look fresh, almost as if they healed a week ago.
It hurts.
I'm assuming I've got a couple of like nice new kind of like little cuts on me.
You actually don't, and actually, you know this from when you are possessed, you seem to heal faster. So the times that you've gained scars are actually the times that Tenebris has lit himself on fire and then release, or put you back in the body as a stab wound happened, and left it to heal almost rather than healing it through his magic. You don't think you would have gathered it seems to be magical healing rather than he just heals, you know what I mean? Because obviously he was definitely heavily injured when the group came across him. So clearly if he's spent on other things, he can't necessarily just do that.
I don't know. Can't have him coming up and appearing like that again.
I think
I had no control.
I think Tenebris's control has been proven to be a lot stronger than we first thought.
Yes.
It feels like now that we're back in a large populated area, they want control back again. When we were just traveling, they were fine letting you take the reins, but now when they know they can do something. But it's fine. In a few days, when when the Knight of my order comes back, we can have a discussion with them and their team. He can help give us our next path. Hopefully, give us some suggestions of which temple to go to. He's already mentioned one, so we can at least start plotting a course that way for when we inevitably go. But I think it definitely would be good to stop by with him, so
As long as
I can get a second opinion.
my life is in your hands, Yuji. And it couldn't be in anyone better. Thank you.
Thank you for trusting me, and thank you for fighting.
I have little choice.
There's always a choice, and you choose to continue fighting back. Lesser people would give up and just let the Efreeti take control, but not you.
I mean, it's taken over 300 years to get to this. At some point, you just want to rest.
I know, and we'll get that for you.
Speaking of, one thing I did notice. Tenebris, I think you were right. The spell you and your master cast still is active. He was incredibly tired. I know that he put on a show, but he was nearly killed in that fight. Volu nearly killed him, released him, in fact. He needs to rest. I don't know how long for. I don't know what he can hear from this conversation right now.
I don't know, but it's also worth us assuming the worst. The
That's all.
feeling of fatigue could also be an act. Him wanting us to think he's tired, so that if he does get out, we'll underestimate him.
Maybe, but this did feel like it was strong.
Okay.
So, you are right. We must not take any precaution. We must take all precautions. Not take no precautions.
Yeah.
You
Throw
know
caution
what?
to the wind.
Fair
No
enough.
precautions. It's all good.
Tell you what, we'll get you your own apartment.
Yeah.
We'll check in with you.
Let's get you drunk. Let's get you a bit angry. Let's give you some whiskey.
Tenebris, come on out. Come on, buddy.
Yeah.
Or have a sambuca, and then it's a flaming sambuca just by me drinking it.
Yeah.
Like it's like
But I will flick over to the other room as again probably the sunlight beaming in and heating up the space. It is starting to get hotter, and you are noticing, especially for Eleni and Volu, that have spent the majority of their time in Clearpool in the south of Imdor. It is a lot, like drastically hotter as we're coming into the summer months.
Okay, I would have stretched and sat up, just mentally checked that my alarms were all still in place.
You would have, they would have gone off at points, but again, it would have been that like 9 a.m. People are moving around to get out of bed and stuff, and you would have been woken, but are aware enough that they're like, it's just people moving around.
And then I would probably pick up the chest, sort of sit on the bed, cross-legged, with it on my knee, and start sort of examining it. See,
Okay.
is it locked? Do I think it's gonna zap me with something?
So it's definitely locked. Looking it over, you're not seeing any sort of trap.
Okay.
And you know that you did detect magic last night, and you didn't see any magical sigils or anything like that on it.
I think then, I mean, let me just check. I'm not proficient, but I don't think I even own any thieves' tools. I would probably look up at Volu and say, do you have any thieves' tools or lockpicks or anything like that?
What
Volu,
kind of?
you're a thief.
I actually am not.
Oh. Neither
Why
am I.
would you think that?
Well, because I don't, and you never know. It's worth asking.
Okay. And then I kind of just shrug back over and
In which
Hmm.
case, I'm going to dig a crowbar out of my bag and
Yeah,
try and
valid.
prise this thing open.
Okay, so make me a athletics at advantage for the crowbar.
For the love of Christ, why do we not have anyone who can open a bloody lock?
17. I can open a lock.
Yeah.
we can open a lock. We just can't unlock it.
So I'd say that's probably the noise that interrupts Dante and Ichi's conversation, as there is a from the room next door, and yeah, the box is open. As it spills open, there is a large pouch and a folded note. As you sort of move the pouch, you can tell it's definitely coins.
Okay. I would like to read the note, please.
Okay, so the note is on fairly nice paper. You was like immediately you'd sort of recognize it's like spell scroll quality paper.
Okay.
And it says, here are some funds to get started. Sow as much chaos as possible. Target both factions. Make it hard to tell who's attacking who. This piece won't last for long. And then it's not even signed at the bottom. It's just left as empty.
Give me a second. Talk to other people if you like while I write that down, because
Yeah.
That's
I'll try and repeat it.
target both factions.
Target both factions.
I've got funds to get started, sow as much chaos as possible, target both factions, and then it was try to.
Don't let them know. Like don't let them figure out who's basically
Yeah.
who's either who is who. And this piece won't last for long.
This piece won't last for long.
By that, I'm assuming peace as in
how is peace
peace.
spelled?
No, not peace as in this piece of string.
Yeah, no, PEACE.
Like peace, man.
Yeah,
Okay.
peace.
Okay. Does
Dante and Ichi just come running in after they hear the break of the chest.
Yeah. I mean, Eleni knows that there's these two political factions. Sorry. And she knows that they've been politically opposed to each other. Does she know if there's been any recent, like, violence, antagonism? As it,
No, but you would know that they were both born out of the two sides of the War of the Book and Cloth.
Well, that's a long time ago, though, isn't it?
It is, but also, and that is the last time there was any overt violence.
Okay.
It's like England and France. The Battle of Agincourt was years ago, but
Yeah. But my brain's just gone. But yeah, nothing overtly recently. But yeah, that is you can Ichi and Dante. You could sort of make your way and knock on the door. It's
Everything okay in there?
As well as it can be. Come in if you like.
yeah, and you would see Eleni sat on the bed with a cracked open chest.
Dante will be like quietly behind Ichi, head kind of just on the floor. Or at least facing the floor, not actually on the floor.
I was going to say head on the floor.
that would be an amazing way to walk. It just
That would be funny.
Just head down, arse up.
Walking in permanent bow.
really
Oh,
had to carry it. I
oh,
almost started
it's
singing the rest of that song then, and I was like, nope.
I think I missed
I
that.
didn't even. I forgot that was a song.
Okay.
Anything interesting?
I'll hand him the note. Well, somebody was definitely being paid to stir up trouble. Can I open the pouch and see how much money's in there?
You can give it a good count. There's 800 gold in this pouch.
Ooh, nice. I mean, do you think this belongs to Thread Monstery Dude, or do you think this is like somebody else that wasn't there?
I think this might belong to someone who created Thread Monstery Dude.
So these are. So remind me, like they're on the demon side, aren't they? They're not the devil side.
Demon side.
So, do I know anything? I mean, I'm Blood Hunter, so I do know stuff about fiends and all that jazz, don't I?
Yeah, if you want to make me an Arcana.
And that's advantage, I think, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Anyone else can as well.
Arcana.
Or religion, actually. Or religion.
I want to do
Um,
religion.
I got 17 on an advantage. I get a +6.
Both
Oh
both
my
are
gosh.
+0 for eachy. 11.
7.
I was wondering if, say, does this sound more like a tribute or a kind of, like a like sacrificial lamb? Here's a big load of gold.
I'll come to that in a second. Eleni, what did you get?
I didn't actually roll because I'm not proficient in either of those things.
Okay, no, yeah, that's fine if you don't.
So I don't think she doesn't know much about magic other than the stuff that she can do with a swarm.
Mm-hmm.
And she's not particularly religious, so
No, that's fine. So,
I got a 7.
Vola, and again, it kind of makes sense. Yeah, while you're training in nature and about like the worship of the worship of the land is fairly versed. Tanabori didn't really teach you anything about other gods or any sort of things or demons or devils or anything like that. Dante, yeah, just be Dante. So Ichi, you know the standard, the myths and tales, the standard folk stuff. For Dante, it doesn't give you like sacrifice. You know that some devils and demons do take payment in gold. You would imagine though that there had to have been some other, maybe not other person that was working there, but you don't think this is it's isolated, if that makes sense. You don't think this was like one group that were all staying in that place. So you think it's maybe a wider thing. You also know though that demons don't generally like formulate plans like that. It was very organized for demonic activity over devilish. It actually gave you a much more devilish vibe than the creatures you were fighting.
one thing Eleni would say is that she didn't get the impression that the Thread Monster was particularly adept at magic or capable of creating that portal. Do you know what I mean?
It was slashy and hacky.
Yeah.
I will also say something with that 17 that flashes to Dante. Some of the creatures that Tenebris or you killed dissipated in the way that creatures from another plane do. Those ones were then like reappearing again through the portals when it was open, etc. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them didn't. Some of them turned to like ash and actually like burned up under Tenebris's flames, and some of the bodies stayed. And you know that only happens if they are native.
If they're from this plane. So because the annoying thing is I keep going to call them Ifrits or whatever.
The Quasits.
Quasits, that's it. So was it some Quasits that did that and other Quasits didn't? Or
the thread demon always disappeared because before the group turned up, Tenebris had killed the thread demon once or twice before they arrived. He just had no means of shutting down the portal that meant around later here it appears again.
and all he wanted to go was for a nice little stroll.
Mm. But yes, the
Can I say that part? Say what I know.
yeah, no, go
The thing that you may want to be more concerned with. Demons rarely often plan. They're rarely ever organized. What was seen in that weird, threadbare world was a clear plan. They worked together. And what furthermore?
It was a pocket dimension, wasn't it?
Mhm. You would, I would confirm that with that 17 Arcana,
So, what
and it disappeared.
what
It
plane
disappeared after you left it.
what plane is a pocket dimension? It's in its own thing, isn't it?
Mhm.
So,
However, it gave you a bit. Well, again, the everything, the smells, the what it looked like, gave you abyssal, like the demons, but it was giving like the like I said, the planned organization of it was
it
very.
wasn't that. There's more the killing some of the flappy dudes, the quasits.
No, so pocket planes usually sit in the same space just outside of the plane they're created in.
Okay.
So,
cool.
like, if you create a pocket plane in the material plane, it like almost, or if you imagine it's like a moon orbiting the outside of that.
It's a spot on a person.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's an image, isn't it?
Thank you.
Yeah, some of those quasits were native to this plane, or at least acted like it was.
That's unnerving.
But
And-
also, does that mean that there is another somebody who was more organized? I mean, do you remember anything about yesterday? Did Tenebris kill them before he found?
Tenebris went down into that. It was me that found, after hunting the. When I first woke up, and I first came to, Tenebris had been in a fight with a quasit or something like that. I saw its blood splattered. I tracked it to the to one of those buildings, and as I went in and went down the rope ladder that was created, that's when Tenebris took over. But there was only those monsters there. They kept coming and coming, as you saw.
So whoever it is could still be here.
Based on what we saw, I don't think that was the only cell working.
Okay.
I think there's going to be more pockets scattered around, be it close or be it far. Something is happening.
That's worrying.
And based on what you called the purple, and looked over towards Volu,
You know what I mean.
I think it's connected with that. I think I need to meditate on this.
I assume people will slowly be getting ready to head out. What is the plan in terms of where are you going first? What order do you plan to tackle things in with the new developments? But also, I'd say as you know, a bit of new cash.
Are we splitting it?
Well, also I was going to say, are you wanting to sort of give a report to the official people here, or are you going to sort of keep to the shadows and keep to yourselves a little bit?
I mean, Elaine's happy to share what we know, because anything to scup up the bad guys, right? But
We're not gonna like actively go out for it. Like if we bump into them, we can let them know. But
We could always hand the letter in.
I was gonna say, could we maybe write something up, like an anonymous
Good, definitely could.
Don't see why not. And then just hand that in with the letter, because someone who's trained in the arcane might be able to do something with tracking via the letter.
At this point, Volu's he's been a bit offish this morning, and he's getting kind of annoyed that we're still talking about it. So he's just going to pull out a short piece of copper and ping a message over to Sovolkov while you're sending.
You got
What,
25 words.
25 words, what are you going to say?
And are you going to just wing it like Chris always does? Or are you going to plan it up front?
Because yeah, you can plan it beforehand and then say it, or you can go. I feel like in this first time, it feels like Volu's just winging it because he was getting kind of annoyed.
He's like, I want to stop talking about this. But it'd be like, we found a thread monster. It seems to be causing chaos, both for Verdant and Arcanen. Do you need more?
You got 5 more.
You don't have to use them.
Or you can
Please bring me more cake. No, that's not true. That's not true.
No. You say it, it goes.
In now.
There is a brief pause as you feel almost like you feel like a gush of wind blow through the window and the curtains rustle as your spell flies through the air. There is a brief pause before
you say it just says, "Who is this?"
It's anonymous. It's fine.
Was it okay? Is it? Thank you for the message. That sounds worrying. If you have any evidence, drop it off at a guard post. Who is this? And then
yeah, I'm going to ignore the who is this. He said send it to a guard post. Can we just move on?
You okay, Volu?
And then I'm fine. I'd like to just take a moment and go outside if that's okay.
Of course.
Okay. And then he's gonna just walk outside and start searching for a leaf to add to his cloak.
Okay, give me an investigation. This is less that you're not gonna find a leaf. It's more just if you find the right one. Leaving the rest of you up in the room. Obviously, if there's anything else you want to discuss before you head out for the day.
I think I would say I still think we need to try and find some personal weapons to help us for the race. I mean, that's what we were looking for yesterday when Volu collapsed. I don't seem to be having much luck. Dante, you seem to be a good haggler, trader.
He still has his the contact he made, though he hasn't made contact, but he has the gunpowder contact that he made.
I forgot we had the gunpowder. We do have gunpowder.
Oh, yeah, you don't actually need it for your vehicle. You also just have 2 kegs of gunpowder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's also the 3 vehicles we saw that I wish to at least understand where everything is.
Yes.
I
assume nobody's going in for any competitions today.
I don't believe so.
I
mean, what today's the food one, isn't it?
I mean, Volu hasn't told me he's entered any, but it's food.
I don't think Volu would be entering the competition. Maybe has Volu signed up to be a judge?
Do you not think Volu would rather be eating the food than? Well, maybe.
No, yeah, the judges are the one that taste everything. So
I think after the fun of the weaving contest. Anything more exciting is probably a bit much right now.
I think we're going to have more exciting when it comes to the Doom Hakra.
Yeah, maybe a couple of calmer days would be nice.
I need some more time practicing on the new car. That presumably is going to be fixed today.
I can always check in, see how everything's going.
But yes, so I just need to post this letter. Maybe I'll test the car.
Do we
And
not
then
all
I'm
need to
gonna-
be with you to test the car? I mean, won't the weight make a difference when you're going around corners and?
That I don't think the weight would be an issue, but I would also maybe not like to be by myself.
I'll come with you.
Thank you.
Of course.
So are we
Okay,
splitting
so
up or staying together? Sorry, Lee.
So what was that?
Are we splitting up or staying together and doing everything together? Happy either way.
You are coming out quite quiet, Emma.
Yeah.
I mean, I can hear
Is
you,
it
but
that? Is that better?
yeah, that's better.
Yes.
That's better.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like it might just be worth us all sticking together still. Like, there's nothing that's necessarily massively time requiring. Like,
Maybe
we
we
can
can-
always.
I mean, we're in the forge, aren't we? So maybe we can shop
We're at
through
the very
the
bottom of
forge.
it, yeah.
We could head up into the Mythic and go and have a look at where we think the other cars are, and then maybe go from there back over towards Zenith and an hour car.
Mhm.
Sort of work our way up the hill.
okay. As the decision is made and you start getting on your boots and coats in earnest, Volu with the 19, you do find a few different interesting leaves, and there's a good few that could be added to your collection, but you find one that you actually there's no trees down here in the Forge Wood. And what you're finding are the leaves that have blown down in the mountain winds and sort of made their way down from the higher up spaces. And you find one that's almost sorts of reminds you, as you see it floating through, of you traveling over of your travels so far since you've left the Feywild. And you find yourself sort of thinking about, coming through the portal and how like everything's very, very different and very, very intense. Whereas back then it felt important, but it didn't feel as threatening, maybe.
I'll take the leaf that I want to add, and then the others that I see in the wind, I'll just hold my hand up and cast a little gust to let them fly away in the wind. And I'll say to myself, what don't I know about you, Tanabori? If I knew more, maybe I could save you. Maybe I... Tanabori?
Brilliant.
Maybe I do need to find more. Are they coming down the stairs?
Yeah, I'd say that as you're sort of as you sort of attaching it and you sort of like affixing it to its place. I imagine you have like a place for now before you like properly
I have
like
a little pocket. Yeah.
You would hear them sort of coming down the stairs and heading out behind you.
I'll cast a note to Eleni with my telepathy going, I need to take a trip to the scriptorium and learn a few things. Enjoy your shopping. I'll meet you later. And then I'll just start walking.
Okay. I'll just say, okay, see you later. Have a good day.
and I'll
Okay,
head over to the scriptorium.
not a problem. I'll say so. You would easily be able to make your way up there. I will pause on you for a moment as you're moving your way through the Forge Ward and up into the Mythic. For the others, you exit out onto the streets of the Forge Ward. You can still hear and smell that the active work is still ongoing. You can hear some like cheers and that sort of every time the volume peaks of the festival down below, you hear over the air the cries and the shouts and the cheers. And down below you can see the ribbons and all that because it's from this position. But you would be able to turn the other way and begin making your way up the hill. If you want to give me investigations, as I assume we are looking in the different shops for potentially anything that could be used to help you.
Yeah.
in the...
Passive investigation 16, just so.
No worries.
And I would like to use that.
I would like to roll.
Well, it's only one. It's only one difference. It's 15.
13.
Passive
Whenever I'm looking
investigation
for
of
stuff-
10, and I rolled an 11.
Whenever I'm looking for things, I've actually got a passive of 14, but whenever I'm looking for something specifically, no.
So, I mean, again, I think there's a level of there is a lot of it, and a lot of it is the same, and you're sort of moving from place to place. I'd say with the 13, what was so Dante's was 15 and Ichi's was
11.
okay. So with Ichi, you don't really know what to look for, or you come to you maybe get armor and such, but Eleni's looking for stuff that attaches to arrows, and you've not really ever seen or used that sort of thing, so you don't really know where to look.
To say, Liam, and so I am looking for things that attach to arrows. I'm also looking for things I can throw, and whether that's like the alchemist fire, but also like smoke bombs, right? Or just things that I can lob, as well as the things I can shoot.
And yeah, so I'd say Eleni with the 13, you only really manage to find, so you don't find any smiths that have stuff currently. You find a few smiths that could make something, but it would be a bit of a rushed order. But they could make some arrows that will hold, or arrows that will if you need to.
Yeah, I've got to get the door. I'll be about like 5 minutes or whatever.
It's fine.
I'm still going to be looking for something to help me against charisma saves, even advantage, whatever.
Yeah, no worries. For Dante, however, does find a shop that one of the forges is, they do have as like a little set, smaller sized, almost like smoke bombs that are almost for like distracting, for animals hunting, and the scaring birds out of the vicinity, or
Okay.
however, you think maybe if bunched up, if you buy a few, they potentially create a decent enough amount. And again, anything that's basic you can easily find.
Okay.
You don't find anyone that's making alchemist fire or anything specifically like that. But you sort of, like I said, for what you find, there's the arrow guys. They're very much like, if you bring me, the stuff you want put into an arrow, I can make you the arrow. Or they can maybe make you arrows that are ready to be, so you can.
Yeah.
And also, obviously, as you remember, there was we talked about last week. There's just the wrapping them in. You do see a lot of pitch forges have tons of just general oil. So there's normal oil in abundance.
Well, remembering that we've got gunpowder as well. So we've got things in theory that we could make little bombs out of if anyone knows how. And I'm sure Dante would be good at that. I do already have one flask of oil, but yeah, I think buying some pitch is a good idea.
Yeah, so they'd have pitch and oil. So for the pitch, that is sticking to stuff, if that makes it, rather than so
Yeah,
the oil
but pitch will set on fire, right?
Yeah, both will set on fire. It's more just the distinction between
It'll
oil will make a
coat
pool
the
of oil will
yeah.
make a pool of fire, flaming stuff or cover somebody. This will make a sticky
Mm.
thing to be fired through the air and stay alight.
So I think I'd like to buy some pitch.
Mhm.
And I think I would like some smoke bombs.
Yeah, so the little ones are 5 gold per,
Okay.
and they have about 50 available.
Okay.
Eleni, at a rough look, you think so? One of them, if sort of does like a 2-3 foot space. So you think maybe 4 of them bunched up would do like a 10-foot
Okay.
diameter? You know what I mean? So
sorry, my brain's gone to mush. So if I bought 20, that would be 100.
100 gold, yeah.
Right. So yeah,
Would
let's
be
buy.
enough to make five very effective smoke bombs or
Yeah.
lesser smaller ones if you want to.
So okay, 5 bombs. Okay, and then how much is the pitch? Or
To be honest, I don't actually know.
Hello.
hello.
Anyone die?
No.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Sadly, not yet.
We're still plotting.
Oh, dibs on Dante being the first one.
Oh, don't say that. That's a boss fight. You
Um,
isn't
Would it be a
like
smoke grenade, Liam? It's not really, is it?
No, not really. You just have to add it as a custom item, probably. So for the pitch, it depends on the size. If you want like a small hand-sized, like a small hand keg of it, it'd be between 5 silver and a gold. If you want like a barrel, you're talking more like 10 gold. But obviously, we're talking the difference between is obviously the size of barrel. 10 gold is literally a barrel of the stuff.
Yeah, that's going to be too big to get on the car. So I think a smaller one's probably better.
Lots of small pouches.
Well, can I buy 2 small ones?
Yeah, so about 5 silver each.
Okay, so that's 1 gold piece for 2 small kegs.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, so just looking at these smoke grenades, I know it's not the same, but you can throw it 60 feet away, and it'll create 20-foot radius, and a strong wind would disperse it. Is that similar to these
Not really.
5 bombs together?
It's the 4 bombs makes a 10-foot diameter, but I just add it as a custom item for now because it's just
Okay, no, that's fine.
by the time we've used them. So Dante, you were able to help them find. We haven't found any alchemist fire, but you found some sort of smoke bombs. So Eleni's bought. They're basically like much smaller, almost pest deterrent smoke bombs that you and Eleni reckon that you can rig up multiple of them together, and it'll make a bit more of a decent pool.
You said 10-foot radius.
10-foot diameter.
How big are these bombs?
Little,
like cherry bomb size.
Do you think we can hide these in some of their cockpits?
How would we set them off?
They need them. Well,
At which point I just gotta look over to your bow and just gently start pulling at it, like with my mind, kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay. Why not? I've bought 20, so that would create 5, 4.
decent.
If we need 5 together,
You need 4 together.
right?
You
so
can
it's
make 5.
5 sort of decent
ones,
bombs.
or you can use them as, or you can make 4 and have 5 little ones to use however you want. The little ones are literally like that big,
Yeah.
and only make enough smoke to cover like one person. It doesn't even fill a 5-foot area.
Nope, that's cool. That is now in my equipment, and I've also bought two kegs of pitch.
I'm not sure how helpful hiding the bombs on their vehicles are going to be, because for that to work, we need to first of all get to their vehicles, interact with them without being seen, put them on, conceal them, and hope that they don't find them towards the beginning of the race and throw them off.
Would be a challenge to hide.
That's like a 5-step process for this to succeed. Whereas if we have them and throw them,
I think we should try both. We know where 3 cars are, and they are the important 3 cars after all.
What would
This is
happen if
true.
we put some of these inside the cars? I mean, I know they might not do any damage, but they might make the people think that the car's damaged if there's heavy smoke coming out of it.
Just
mean-
like they just turn it on and then suddenly just fucking blast.
So yeah,
I think
if
as
you were
well
driving a
for-
car and smoke was coming out of the engine, you'd be like, "Oh shit, what's wrong?" Wouldn't you?
I think obviously for Dante, thinking about it, you need to see the vehicles a bit closer. Obviously, you got that peak, you've seen where the engines are housed, but to know whether for some, you would know looking at these bombs that their impact set off, right? So they're not light and bomb, they're like throw at the ground and they go off when they're hit. So you would need something to impact them. You think there should be something in the engine to do that, or even something in the moving parts, but you would have to get a closer look to figure out what's possible. It probably takes you maybe 30 minutes to move up towards the mythic ward and doing that searching, as I will flick over to Volu. So Volu, you made your way pretty quickly or slowly? How are you moving as you're moving through the fairly quiet area?
Bolu isn't very good with time. So he'll be walking along, knowing he needs to go to the scriptorium. We'll be trying to avoid the stairs.
Yeah, they're not needed for this one.
Yeah, so it'll be making sure he doesn't go that way. And it will seem like he thinks he's getting there pretty quickly, but it will be quite casual.
Okay. You make your way through and you hear the different shouts and calls. And as you're moving in between the areas, so just here at it's almost at the bottom of the ramp, the sort of lead up way that leads to the Mythic Ward. And you do see a few different food salespeople that are moving around, and they're almost moving. If you imagine that somebody, some of these stalls are down there in the Crucible, and they've said, like, go and get people that are, go and find some people. So every now and again, you are being passed by different food items, and a few times you are called over to try things if you think you would partake, or are you focused? Do you feel focused today?
How good does the food smell?
I mean, pretty good, but also you would notice that it's still like a good 30-minute walk for like, this is not like the prime stuff that's freshly cooked, because it's just, it's been on this tray for this time. So maybe not as enticing as the freshest stuff, but you see a nice almost like kebab in a pitta that looks pretty good. You muted.
No, I just wasn't speaking.
No, Chris tried to speak.
So as long as it's not in a naan.
But you would eventually make your way up to the Mythic Ward. As you arrive to the grassy, where it starts to change into grass and open plants and all these sorts of things, you notice like there's a bit of a buzz in the air generally, and a lot of this area is more packed than you expect it to be, but it's almost like people heading over towards the main academy building. And as you're getting closer to the scriptorium, you would pass some students that are just sort of on the side. You can see one of them's almost like practicing some telekinesis and lifting, and you hear one of them saying like, are you going to go head over to the Grey Wind demonstration later? And one of them's like, no, I don't really care about but one of them's like, yeah, definitely. I reckon their new engine's going to be crazy fast. Like they're saying, best invention this century. But there's almost, you would gather that over in the main academy, there seems to be some sort of demonstration happening today that has a lot of the students up in business about it. Before eventually entering into the scriptorium. As you arrive to the outside of the scriptorium, you would notice, as you've been through here before, the two glass buildings almost seem one building that's been sliced in half, each mirroring each other on different either side of the quad, as it were, in the middle. But you would see very clearly marked the scriptorium versus the Hall of Sages, which you were in the other day. And you make your way in, and as you go in, it's like a very large open lobby, and there's almost like a small plinth style stone reception desk, but behind it are stone statues that are currently just head down, arms folded.
I'd kind of look at the statues. I'd almost walk up to them and see if anything happened.
As you, nothing seems to happen as you're like approaching and getting closer. But as you step like to the point, like to the desk itself, you would hear the stone almost, and the head lift and the eyes open. How may the scriptorium be of service for today?
I'm looking for something that could help me heal somebody who's maybe dead.
As you sort of finish speaking, you see the eyes. They're not like shifting with any picture that's discernible, but it's almost like the color shift as they're almost like looking around and moving. It's interesting. As you're looking at this, can you give me an insight as you're watching them search for this information? As they all of a sudden stop and say, text on this subject are restricted. Please present your identification. And a small bit of the table slides.
Sorry. I'm allergic to identification, apparently. I'm not from here. What do you need?
There's like a processing moment before we can provide basic information. There are the myths and legends, but we cannot provide concrete information without evidence that you are supported and backed by a accredited school of magic.
One in this city?
Any city is valid. But you must present proper identification. This process can take up to 3 days.
Do I get anything for that insight roll?
Off the insight, you pick up. So while it's like the whole process has been very like animatronically. There was a moment where you got almost person vibes when it found information. There was like they found something, and then it like switched again and was like, that information is blocked, right? That sort of thing. But I would say over the course of this conversation, you would pick up that you think this is potentially like a spirit or something, like possessing, rather than a robot, if that makes sense. Or maybe a golem or something like that. It's definitely like there's definitely some personality. It's not just like a statue. They would list you off the basic stuff, but it's also, like I said, it's almost like myths and legends. They leave out all the important stuff. You know, it was once said that a warrior from Giskia resurrected, blah blah blah. It's like very like that, rather than here's how you do it. Here's the text. Here's the stuff. You obviously would know, and you know as well that there were sections of the library, the Hall of Sages, that were restricted as well. That assistant sort of told you. They sort of say after sort of listing out some basic facts, they say, "Is there anything else you need in the meantime?"
Is there anybody else in here with me?
No, not currently.
Can I do like a scan of the area to see if there's anything around that may be helpful or useful or can distract the golem?
You look around, and it is weirdly empty. And actually, as you're looking, it's like all the walls are still made of glass, but it's almost like you still can't see further into the building. And you're literally just in a like glass cube room with a stone table and these golems. However, as you sort of take a step back, the golem just. And you would notice with your passive perception, there's an activation room on the floor. So they are detecting you via you stepping on that room. But also, as you sort of look around, you don't see any doors or like any way out of here, like obvious.
Obvious, other than the exit.
Other than the way out. And that is just at a glance. Like, obviously, feel free to look around and do what you do. But as you sort of look around, they're almost using, you know, when you're looking into like the corridors of mirrors, and it's like you can't actually tell whether that's a turn, and then you think that's maybe a door, but then it's actually you reflecting you.
I'm gonna have to find someone. The Azure Spire Academy is a noted academy here, isn't it?
It is a noted academy. Yeah.
Okay. And there's still people outside giving the buzz about.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's still like, and outside there's still people moving around. There's just nobody using the scriptorium, and you know specifically because obviously a lot of the academics do their own researches in the library. The scriptorium mainly deals with copying over texts and archiving things, restoring texts that are very destroyed and such. Managing sacred texts and keeping the magic texts. It's less about come in and read these things, and it's more like they would copy it into a book and put that book in the library, and then anyone can read it without damaging the precious things.
Yeah.
You know that you would come here to you would get a name. Like if you were a student, you'd come in and say, what wizards are known for resurrection? They would give you a list of names, and then you'd go and look them up over the way.
I was hoping to bypass that because what I'm looking for is probably in the restricted section, but okay.
I mean, there are other ways to bypass the restricted section.
Can I see any IDs on these people outside? Has anybody got them loosely hanging?
Roll me a D100.
Uh, 59.
Okay. There are a few students that are like sort of sat on benches on the further side, and it's the sort of benches. It's not like one level bench. It's like a like a stadium style,
Bleachers.
bleacher style, and they're not like off their person, but like one has it hanging from a bag, and it's almost like on a lanyard style, like student pass basically. But there's like a group of friends that they all seem to be wearing them loosely rather than on. You see a few that maybe like there's one that's sort of like sat, but it's near their hand. There are targets, but students are pretty careless when it comes to things like that.
I'm going to take out my weaving kit. I'm going to grab the leaf that I was going to add to my cloak, and I'm going to fashion like a bit of thread through it to make it almost look like a lanyard. And then I'm going to go over to one and say, hey, and be like, what's all this buzz about Greywind? And at the same time, I'll be trying to swap my leaf lanyard for an ID pass.
Okay, so first of all, let's have a weaver's check just to see how good this quick time. So it's going to be a proficient dexterity.
Can I just appreciate the number of times Paul has seemed to be able to get a weaver's check in?
Yeah, honestly,
Like,
no, dirty 20.
Okay, so yeah, you do have to grab like some leaves and some grass and some. There's even like because there's jungle vines here because there's like plants that aren't supposed to be in this area, and you have to grab some other things to sort of make the full length of it. But it looks pretty convincing at a glance. And then as you approach, give me as you approach, you sort of say. Like, what's all this gravy stuff? They go, where have you been all morning? Have you not heard? That literally, they're all they're talking about. And the new Aether Stream company are here for the Doom Hacker. They're showing off their vehicles inside the academy. All students have been invited to go and take a look.
Are you guys going?
I mean, I might do, and I'll sort of give me a sleight of hand as you are trying to edge your way towards grabbing hold of a pass.
Right.
Oh. Okay. So how do you go for the pass? So this guy is sort of hanging from his backpack, and they're just sort of walking along next to you.
Yeah, so we'll be talking, and then be like, "Oh, are you going?" And then I'll kind of just like,
And as you reach, they like shuffle and like, wait, what are you doing? And they like start looking you over.
I'd like to get to know you a bit better. Like, what's your name?
Give me a deception.
16.
They like eye you for a long minute before Bartholomew sent you to steal my work, didn't he? Well, you'll never get it. And then he like turns on the spot and like marches away.
Thought I had that one. I need to try a different approach. Is there anybody else around?
I mean, again, like depending on how long
yeah.
you want to spend, there are people moving past, and so if you want to just spend a good bit of time, you can. It depends also how many failed attempts there are before it gets noticed too much. But yeah, there are a number of other targets. You could go for the bleachers people. You could maybe go for.
Is there food around here?
There are people eating, but it seems to be stuff people have brought. So there's like
Damn it.
picnics and those sorts of things, but
I've not got any food on me.
nothing. Well, you've got your rations, but nothing.
Nothing fancy.
Yeah.
And there's nothing being sold around here. I'm gonna go up to somebody and be like, "Hi, have you seen this?" And then I'll dangle my specially made ID.
They're like, oh, that's interesting. How are you using magic to keep it together, or is it a craft?
I'll tell you what. If we can play a game of Rochambeau, rock paper scissors. Yeah.
Hang on, sorry. Rochambeau is rock paper scissors, or is that just something you've made up?
No, that's from.
No,
What
no.
is it from? Is it never?
Like Rochambeau is like one of the proper names for it. So
I have heard Rochambeau before.
yeah.
I only know that from Hamilton.
Fair.
They like look at you quizzically. I mean, we can do. Why? What would be the point?
Because this is special for more reasons than you think.
Give me a persuasion.
Oh, damn it.
Perception.
I would rather have perception.
Mhm.
18.
They raise an eyebrow at you, and then they'll raise a hand.
Mm-hmm. And at that point, I want to cast command.
Okay. What are you commanding? One word.
Paper.
Oh, damn.
Okay.
The person's just counterspell.
I mean, I don't think there's like what are the components to command? Is it just verbal?
Yep.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't think they'd have time to counterspell it. It's a roll, right?
Yeah, they have to do a wisdom save.
But don't they know?
They do know, yeah.
That's a problem for later.
This is literally the epitome of like, hey, I'm cheating. It's noughts and crosses, but I've gone twice.
Okay. I'm gonna pause there for a moment.
No.
I'm loving that we thought Chris was the chaotic one.
Yeah.
And Paul's been all sweetness and light for weeks.
Oh dear.
No, I don't think he has. Literally since day one, I'm like, oh, Paul and I click. This
Could be dangerous.
Yeah, as you cast out that command, and I assume throw scissors.
Yeah,
I honestly love it if you
We'll pause there and
also just love the idea of I'm presuming you're throwing scissors.
And flick back over to the others.
Have I found someone to send this letter yet? Because I just
Sorry, there's loads of guard. It's not even that. You would go to one of the guardhouses. You've passed a bunch of them. You literally just need to, go in and say this note for whoever, whichever knight or guard captain you're trying to get it to.
No, not that one. I'm talking about
Alar Moonshadow letter.
Moonshadow.
Oh, you did that in the Bastion? I thought you'd already done that. I thought you...
No, you told us, oh, well, you could leave it here or you can
Yeah.
go find it, and that'll be faster.
She said
then
send it because it'd be quicker.
Yeah, which
Yeah, I
you
assumed
guys
that was
like
just...
fucking die on us.
Yeah, I definitely you could find a post place and just get
Yeah,
that
just
send. It would be 2 silver for like a sending inside the city.
If I do 4 silver, can I just tell them to do it right now? There's
Yeah.
no like, hanging about.
Yeah.
Cool. So I'll do that.
Yeah, very easily done. Very easily done. Knock off the 4 silver. You would be able to. So you would probably. It's less that you obviously have found everything you want, and more you start to come out of the Forge Ward main area and sort of getting closer towards the Mythic Ward, and you start to see, the different colours and the plants that are appearing. From here, where are you wanting to head first? Are you wanting to go straight towards?
Well, I mean, Dante knows where Moonshadow's car is. No one else was with him, were they, when he found that?
We can go have a look now, though. I think I'm not sure if middle of the day is a good time to do it or not, but we can have a look.
I don't know. And that was right over the other side, wasn't it? It was.
Yeah. I'd say as you're saying this, you would hear a group of students that are currently like moving towards the academy, going like, saying like, the Greywind vehicle looked amazing. Did you see the extra attachments? And they just sort of pass you, but they're moving away from the academy. Sorry, they're like moving down the ramp, almost back towards the festival.
So potentially it's no longer there.
Do we want to go see?
Well, so that was the obviously. I would say it definitely gives you the impression that it's on show somewhere.
Let's go see if we can find it.
Definitely.
What was the other thing we were going to do as well?
So there was Moonshadow's vehicle, and then there's the Greywind. There's 2 different things.
Oh, sorry, I'm looking at
Yeah.
Moonshadow. Moonshadow is the one that I was looking for.
Yeah, Moonshadow was
Because-
the one that you found in that warehouse or whatever it was.
And it's Moonshadow's vehicle that we are going to disable.
No, it's the
Well,
Greywind.
the Greywind vehicle is the one you want for.
I thought, because I remember like they said something about Moonshadow and that's that
There
dude's
was
son.
something, yeah, Alar Moonshadow.
Yeah.
His son, who is racing, and
Yeah, and he's
Alar
not happy
Moonshadow
about
doesn't
it.
know about it or isn't happy
Yeah.
about
Well, I mean,
it.
that was what my letter was about to say.
Yeah.
Did you know he is and all this stuff is here?
But Madam Oracle wants you to target Barter, who is on the second vehicle for Greywind,
Yeah.
or to take their main car and get it to crash.
But there was also something about, was there a gnome or somebody with him? And they did mention something about Greywind when he was listening, when he was.
Yeah, there was a gnome that was kind of like big boss lady.
Yeah, they bought their car from Greywind.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know what I thought. Because the whole point of me sabotaging these cars was literally just so because we're trying to.
I mean, I assumed you followed him because you saw him.
Oh no! Well, I mean, so I knew he was playing, so I thought I'd go see where his cars are. But I followed him because I thought that he was the one that had the car that we were meant to stop.
No, yeah, no, that's never been the thing.
Okay, well,
but even so,
either way, let's do the Greywind one now because it's out on show. The other one we know where it is.
Okay. As you are making your way through, Volu comes hopping past you. Volu, to end off what happened, you felt your spell go. They looked at you, went, rude. I suggest you hop to the crucible. And you felt their magic wave over you. And you are hopping to the crucible unless you are deterred from it in the next 8 hours. That is your as you just And you yourself, you're still in control. I've got to hop to the crucible.
Brilliant.
Just watch him walk like hot past. I'm not gonna stop him.
I would possibly if do I see him, Liam? Because if I saw
You
him
get
hopping,
all three. Like you were coming up to a crossroad, and he's just like past you guys.
I don't think I'd grab him. I think I'd shout out to him.
Volu, you hear Lenny shout to you. Again, you're still within your faculties. You're not like zombified doing it. It's almost like that's what you planned to do today. But Lenny's just shouted you. But you are planning to do this.
Hi, Lenny.
Where are you going?
I'm off to the Crucible.
Bye.
Like that?
And he's still going.
Yeah.
He's just shouting louder. I'm off on an adventure.
I don't know if I'd stop him, I'm just like, he wanted to be on his own today, He seems happier than he was earlier.
I mean, this like seeing Volu happy enough, or like
To hop and skip.
whimsical enough that he's hopping around,
Mm.
isn't abnormal. Like that's the thing.
Dante just there, just be like.
Savolo, can you give me a acrobatics, please? And guys, unless you chase after them, they head round a corner and continue hopping away from you.
I don't think I would.
No.
I'd be like,
Nope.
But you guys can continue. Oh, and that's great.
Dirty 20.
Yeah, dirty 20 on the. So
the
the
best
hop,
hops.
it is balanced. You are not falling down for a while. As you just hop, just straight down the hill. I'll come back to Volu. Sorry, buddy.
It's all right.
You guys, the rest of you can start heading. You make your way, almost following the trail of people talking about it, and eventually, as you enter the main, almost like the academy grounds, there are sort of signs and banners hoisting the Greywind colours, and it's very much like come and see the Marvel. Students, come for the talk and in-depth conversation about the new invention. And it's like you would be able to tell as you're entering, there's stuff outside on show for anyone who's passing, but the stuff that sort of says, there's a lot of it that says like must present student card or like whatever with like to go and get the talks on how the magic works, etc. You sort of need to be presenting. As you get further into almost like you're getting closer to the big glass dome that almost looks like a crystal ball, but like dug into the ground. There is a crowd of people and a cordoned off area. And inside that cordoned off area, you see a very, very more well put together version of what you saw the other day. Still in that hammerhead style where it has the two protruding, like almost cylindrical engine, the smoke dispensers basically. And as you're looking, you can see that they sort of rev the engine a little bit and the plumes of smoke like out of it. If you imagine, do you know what when a tire does a screech and the smoke is around the tire? It's almost like that, but from the ends of these cylinders. You can see that this one is modded for a single driver. So it only has the one driver. It is, however, you would note that there are protections. There are like more than usual. And it looks to be thinner than the one you saw. So it's like same model, thinner, smaller, or less of the, like the other one had a secondary person shoot up in the air thing. And you would see it's clearly presented as the Sandstorm. You would also see a little section on the side there's like a little tent over to the left where there's a you can see an air ganassi, no, sorry, a water ganassi sat in a like a stone chair that seems to have been made out of magic on a little stage, and they're like talking to different students and stuff. But again, Dante, you would notice the telltale sign of like a barrier where they're going to ask you for your student card. There's like, if you imagine all the open area is public and every tent has like a person stood there, like, present your student card to go in and get the more information.
Liam,
Yes.
the people who are guarding, are they wearing like a uniform? Is
They're
there
all
like
wearing,
obvious?
so they're all wearing the academy colours, like a lot of the people are here, but they have pins that sort of signify them as maybe prefects or some other such thing. But there's more than just the ones guarding. There are some sort of guiding people. There are some giving information, but there's almost like academy workers here.
So are they staying to specific areas or are they all mingling? I'm trying to work out, is there someone, say, right at the front where we walked in that someone outside one of the tents wouldn't be able to see necessarily?
Oh yeah, no, they're standing in one area. There are some that are moving around to give information, but they're like busy with people here and there and sort of running here to help people. And
Okay. And do all the tents look like they have different things in them, or are they?
yeah, so you can see that there's 4 tents. There's one that is this talk. You can see that there's like a sign on the side that says talk with the driver of the sandstorm, Estri. That's Estri,
Not Astra.
not Estra, Estri. There is one that is in-depth talk with engineer Barter about the mechanics behind the new invention. There's you note that one is it's labeled talk on fire suppression, and it briefly talks about a cooling system, but it's very vague, and then you get the impression even that tent even has its doors shut. One thing that you notice from all of them is that there is no sound passing in or out. So as in, like, you
Okay.
can see that Estri is talking to the students in there, but there's no sound coming out of the door.
I would firstly turn and look at someone who stood further away from the tents with one of these uniforms on and really study them.
Mhm.
And very quietly under my breath, I'm going to say to Ichi and Dante, you guys got any way of getting into here?
Apart from asking politely, no.
Distraction.
I mean, we can always just straight up lie, say that we're part of the driving team here
Is-
to inspect the vehicle.
Is there something I could walk behind? Something I
I
could.
mean, loads. It's
Right.
an open planted.
So I'm going to walk behind something and almost do a bit of like a Superman kind of in and out and disguise self. And I
Okay.
sort of go behind and come back out, and I want to look like one of the academy people, whoever I was studying at the front,
Mhm.
and then wander up to the tent that had engineer Barter in it.
Okay. As you wander up, a half orc, sort of seems to be female, fairly young, maybe like 18, 19. You're reckoning some of the workers seem to be like young adults, and others seem to be like older students. And they look up but don't fully look up at you. They almost just see the colors, and yeah, what's up? This tent is packed. I haven't been able to have I could do with another person. They're just sort of like keeping an eye on things, and they're like,
Yeah, it's gone quiet out the front. I can give you a hand inside if you like.
give me a deception at advantage.
4.
Yeah, so almost as you speak, they like take a look at you properly. And it's not like that they see through the illusion or anything, but they suddenly just go, wait, are you even on due right now? Where's your pin? And they like point to like actually, would you be able to
I
illusion?
would
Can
have.
you disguise it?
Why,
I
well, you
suppose
can
it is
change your
part of your
clothes and
clothes.
everything. I
Yeah,
would
yeah,
have
yeah,
tried
yeah,
to
no,
look
sorry.
exactly like.
Okay, I don't know what they don't. They would be. So I'm just
Right.
casting.
He's just come and may have just seen him. They're just, hang on, did I just speak to you 5 minutes ago?
He just sees him over the ground behind you. No, I assume it is your voice. They sort of like look at you and they're like, no, it should be fine. Maybe just send Professor Avanath over.
Can I insight?
Yeah.
Because I'm rolling so well. I have a 14 passive, but that's a 15 roll.
I mean, they seem suspicious, but it's almost a bit like they almost feel like you're trying to get out of work.
Oh, okay. Do I?
Like almost like the front desk is going to be worse, isn't it? Like just send Professor Avanath over.
So I believe that Professor Avanath is a real person. That they're
Yeah.
not just testing me somehow.
Mhm.
Liam's smirking. Okay. Okay. I'll say yeah, okay, cool. Shout if it gets too much. And I'll turn back round and head back towards Ichi and Dante.
Are these tents? Because you're saying they're all different tents, right?
Mhm.
Like
it's in like the big open green area out front.
Yeah,
There's some
giant bell
space.
tents.
There's some space between them, and
So giant bell tents.
they're like the gazebo style tents.
Is there like kind of like a door that's like up, or is it kind of just open, like that, or up?
Oh, it's like a side, like the flap's been pulled to the side, and for the Bart, the Bart one is the one that was I said was shut. Yeah, that one, the flap is shut.
I've got one way of potentially getting in.
Oh,
Go for it.
Drop smoke bomb, walk in.
I mean, that uses
this
one
is
of
a
our
school
bombs,
of
though.
this is a school of spellcasters, right? I'm sure someone knows the gust spell.
So they'd quickly they'd quickly deal with it, realize it's someone pulling a prank.
If we get caught, I can try and talk us out of it.
Or, like you said originally, a distraction.
I don't know what I was using it for.
Eleni, are you staying disguised? Or are you
Um,
finding a place to turn back?
Can anyone do minor illusion?
I would have stayed disguised while I went back and was sort of talking to these two. Just to make, because obviously once I drop it, it's dropped, but I can keep it up for an hour. So I would sort of.
Can anyone throw their voice or make a sound come from somewhere else?
I've got mage hand.
I've got mage hand. Well, I've got my head.
I've got pass without trace.
How many guards per door?
Just one. And again, it's like it's a guard as much as that one was a student.
I mean,
Oh.
back of the tent, slit a hole in the
okay.
tent.
So I'm
Like
gonna
they're
go.
workers. There's a range of adults and students. They are older members that clearly have been given responsibility, prefects, that sort of thing.
Okay, and then
How big of a distraction do we need?
Not much.
I mean, I could feint and knock someone over, or I mean,
One moment. Ichi will kind of like just stare at will kind of like look like they're contemplating for a second, but I'm going to speak telepathically to my elk.
Okay.
Hey buddy, could you come to where I am and cause a bit of a kerfuffle? We just need someone to get a few people's attention.
Can you just roll me for the elk and intelligence?
Doesn't it just do what it says?
Yeah,
I was gonna-
No,
yeah.
validly, it is doing what it says. It will. I just want to gather.
And we can communicate with each other. It can
Yeah.
It's just like, Ichi, fuck off. I'm having a bath.
Dude, now really?
Yeah.
I'm eating some grass, man.
Liam, if I disguise myself as one person and I leave the spell running, am I able to change the illusion
No,
while it's on?
you have to recast. Although if it isn't disguise self at will for
It's
you.
1 hour. Well, no, I've got two. I've got the disguise self spell, and then I've got one that I can use.
Yeah, no,
long rest.
it's a new cast to
Okay.
shift into another person.
I was so confident.
I would drop it then. I would find
Okay.
somewhere to.
I was so confident because I rolled a 14 and was like, oh, that's better than what I got. And then I was like, oh, intelligence -4.
Oh.
But I don't know.
But it's
like,
okay. And a 9,
if the fine steed
a
has
10.
different statistics.
It's basically a more just kerfuffle is a pretty broad term, and I just got this image of like just in the distance you see like just the elk just like running through buildings.
Oh no.
But yeah, no, he kind of gets the feeling that what you're putting down, and just after maybe a moment or two, there is very loud neighing and mooing from this elk, and also it seems to have managed to get basically some of the ribbons and banners wrapped in its horns, and is like running with this trail and half of a decoration. You would see a number of the door attendants do sort of look that direction. You notice that people do start moving to sort of get things. Like there's people just like, what is this creature?
Ichi just kind of like leans over. Does this work?
There is a moment of distraction. However, you would note none of the door attendants leave their post. They're just focused on the like, what is that? And all the students are sort of looking, and there is a moment.
If we're gonna do anything.
I mean, seriously, if nobody's moving, I'm going to go around the back of the tent, and I'm going to use my dagger. Just to slit a little bit so that we can sneak in.
I think that's going to be probably the better way. Otherwise, I'm throwing a bucket of water over someone. Or just throwing a mud into their eyes.
You fully might have to. Lenny, in the moment you sneak around the back, you press your dagger, and it does not slit that.
Yeah, I thought it would be something like that. Okay.
And I'm gonna say, as we are trying to find a way in, Volu finishes. There is a moment where, as you are just coming down past where it says Ariane's Arcanum, you are a good chunk of the way. Because again, even in your senses, you would have not, you avoided the stairs. However, as you're making your way down that way, you suddenly trip and scrape your knee, and it's 1 point of damage. However, it is enough to bring you out of the magical suggestion that you were previously under. And as you sort of stop and look up, there is almost this moment of glinting sunlight, where you're taken back to the Feywild for a moment again. And you're almost thinking, and it's odd. There are whole sections, you can't remember why you stopped searching for your way home. You can't remember. There were points when you would ask questions and then just forget why you asked that question and continue on with it. And almost like that familiarity of the magic fading from your brain, it almost gives you the feeling like that has been done a little bit to you. You know, I suggest you just go sit down, sweetie. That'll be fine. And maybe you sort of, you know, you're getting that feeling that you have maybe been under a bit of magical influence while in the Feywild at the same time. A lot of those memories are altered and twisted a little bit, but nothing bad on a level like again, it's not like they were dominating you. It was just in those when you were asking too many questions or those sorts of things. And I think as you're pondering that to yourself and the rest of the group are trying desperately to find their way into a tent, that is where we will end for part 1. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much for listening. As always, if you like what's going on, hit the like and subscribe and the notification bell so you know when the videos are coming out. And as always, roll well. Bye. This is the end of part 1. Part 2 airs Sunday 7 PM GMT, or will be linked in the top right of your screen now. Thank you for watching, and roll well.